Ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to another live stream. We've got some big news. We've got some gossip within the administration with Donald Trump. Apparently wasn't too happy with Dan Bongino this weekend. There's some stuff happening. Laura Trump now is saying we're going to release certain things as it pertains to Epstein to try and appease the base. Will it be enough? Probably not. And so it's still this giant mess. What is up, everyone? What is up? New York Times, Biden did not individually approve all pardons. Yeah, I think they're allowed to do that. As crazy as it is, they're allowed to use auto pens on pardons. As twisted as it sounds. Dan Bongino did show up to work today. So Monday, Bongino showed up. Trump is fuming at him and Kash Patel. Outlet claims JD Vance was trying to mediate the situation as he was in Disneyland. Bongino implied that he could no longer continue his position as long as Bondi was there. The threat infuriated Trump, who spent the weekend fuming over Bongino and Patel, according to CNN. Vance then had to mediate the situation, fielding calls from Patel, Bongino, and Bondi. Over the weekend, Trump had nothing but nice things to say about Bongino, saying he had a good call and that it sounded terrific. And we watched that yesterday. So, Trump really loves Bondi. That's what I take away from this. I want your resources. That's a good love letter. You got finals this week? Well, good luck on your finals, man. The only thing I had finals and was in high school, it was a joke. We liked finals in high school because it was like a half day. It was one final at 7:30 in the morning and then one final at like 10 in the morning, and that was it. But I don't know about the college. That's probably a lot harder in college. I don't know. Has Trump recently converted to Judaism? No, that was false when they said that. That was like back in 2019 they said that. Did you have to do a senior project? I don't think so, honestly. I don't remember. I don't think we had like a crazy big senior project. Just finals after every semester. That was the only huge thing as far as I can remember. D Money, what's up, man? What's your take on 2028 right now? I say don't worry about 2028. I mean, it's irrelevant really what my take is because there's so much stuff that's going to happen between now and then. You know, the 2028 stuff. I think it's probably going to be Vance until proven otherwise, but you never know. But it's probably going to be Vance. If he releases them, the whole world would collapse. Yeah, well, I think it's very obvious whatever they end up releasing. If they release something like it was said, well, you've got Patel, Bondi seen at the White House as Bongino reports to FBI HQ, so they were all here. Yeah, did you see this? Oh, this dude is running for Minneapolis mayor. And so first it's Mondani and then it's this. This is what modern liberalism gets you. This is what liberals get you with in big cities. Do you think Maxwell will actually testify? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's hard to say. Apparently Congress doesn't want her to, or that was a rumor that they didn't want her to do that. Yeah, remember the Captain Phillips? That was a good movie, Captain Phillips. Timmy, thank you for the $5 donation. Maybe I'm a doomer, but won't any release of the files be super edited and almost worthless? The people who want it covered up are the ones handling them. Yeah, and it's not even just that. It's even if they, let's just say, first off of some grace of God, they released everything unedited, nobody would believe it. The administration has shot their entire, they've shot any trust with the base. So whatever they release is going to be very minor, and it's going to be seen as trying to appease a lot of the influencers, because you guys see there's a big thing going on now with Charlie Kirk, because I guess, the Trump is probably not too appreciative of the event that he had and the timing of it, and because there's a bunch of people demanding the release at that event. And so he was like, oh, this is such a lame non-controversy. Yes, it's about the weekend talking about Epstein, but so did many of our speakers at SAS. Nothing was off limits. And that was Tucker Carlson talking about how it was Mossad in Israel, and a lot of Jews on X getting very angry at Tucker Carlson. Laura Loomer fuming at Tucker Carlson. Trump is saying, or now Kirk is saying he wants to give them space to operate. He doesn't want to talk about the Epstein stuff anymore. Apparently he had a phone call with Trump, or at least that's what I saw it was reported. I don't know if that's true. Is the NATO deal a big thing? It's escalation. It's escalation from Trump, because those are offensive weapons that are being sold. So Trump was just giving them defensive weapons. Now they're giving them offensive weapons, but it's all being funded through Europe. Trump says 100% is being funded by Europe. So you can kind of say, well, it's partially the U.S. involvement like the liberals had, but, the liberals would fully fund it. We're forcing the European powers to pay for it, pay for our weapons. And, they also were saying Trump was like, well, why is he waiting 50 days? I think he's waiting 50 days because he doesn't really want to sanction Russia or hit them with these massive tariffs, because it'll hurt our relationship with them even more. Trump was very pro-release before his first term, but once he saw the files, he became coy, non-committal about releasing them. Yeah, he's brought it up. I don't know when that was, 2015 or 2016. I saw a clip of him bringing it up, and he said, well, Bill Clinton, he's going to have some big problems with the island. Like, he brings it up out of nowhere, but nobody was even talking about that in 2015, 2016, but he brought it up. So if you're the one bringing it up out of nowhere, that's a pretty good telltale sign Trump is obviously not on them, because you wouldn't bring it up. But you're right. Then he saw the files, he saw what was in them, and so something happened to where it changed his tune. Benny Johnson reporting story that mood has shifted positive in the DOJ, and they're planning massive Epstein press conference. Yeah, but also that's a propaganda. There's a lot of propaganda with Benny Johnson. He visited Trump. He's gone to the Mar-a-Lago stuff. So and they're dealing with this crisis with their own base. So I'm sure I'm sure the administration is very aware of that, and they want to try and rein the influencers in to pump up more good propaganda. They're going to try and make this go away, and they need these influencers to play ball and be on their side, because the influencers were turning on them. They were like, this is terrible. At this event, there was a bunch of people. These are all like Trump people. This is all supposed to be MAGA or whatever. And they're all screaming about the list. And so, they have to try and get these people back on their side. There must be some sick shit in those files. Well, I bet there is. What was the point of bringing those influencers to the White House for the... Yeah, I still don't know, Phil. I really don't. That was a horrible thing, and I don't think anyone got an answer on that. They said it was just a Bondi mess up, but it made no sense on what that was, and... Trust the government. Charlie Kirk has fallen off. Well, Charlie Kirk, I believe, has a relationship with a lot of these people. So expect, what do you expect? They gave him a phone call. They said, hey, listen, we're working on it. You need to, look at where you're at in the totem pole, buddy. This is how politics are. Tucker's speech and Trump's dismissal of Epstein list are the turning point of U.S. politics. I don't know about that. I mean, this Epstein debacle could maybe be a turning point if you look at it from like a Israel perspective and the cover up of that. I mean, we'll see how they end up handling it because it's still evolving. But I think it's very obvious they're going to release something that probably is going to be hyped up by all the influencers, but behind the curtain, we all know that a lot of the stuff is not going to be released. They have to release something, I think, as appeasement. And what you have to do is you have to kind of say, well, we're redoing everything. We're redoing it. It's all going to be because the thing is they've already said there's nothing there. So how do you go from there's nothing there to there's something there? They're going to have to try and go at it from a different angle. No, you're not banned. DG coin, you're not banned, man. But these people always ask this. WW 30 to 40k troops, better than 12 countries today. War games in Australia, Vietnam invaded. Strangely, Russia, China, Iran, North Korea denied. Oh, Vietnam invited. I don't know what that. I mean, I don't know what you're referencing. What do you mean, 30 to 40k troops? So people were walking out when Tucker started talking about Israel at Turning Point USA. Is that real? A lot of MAGA-like crews supporting Israel without really knowing why. Now, I don't think people were really walking out. I thought Cruz got a lot of, or I thought Carlson got a big standing ovation for that, or people liked that. From what I heard, I don't know. Maybe there were some people walking out. I'm not too sure. But I mean, that's Turning Point USA. You would figure Turning Point USA, just without context, would be pretty pro-Israel. The problem with Turning Point USA with Kirk is, it's a lot of younger people. So a lot of the younger people are anti-Israel. So some of those people are gonna be at that event. So, and you have Carlson trying to lead this this area of right wing. War games in Australia, just saying 30 to 40k troops participating. I mean, I'm not sure about that. 30 to 40k troops participating in Australia from different countries. I'm not sure. It's a strange, it's like you're describing some type of BRICS agreement or something. I'm not sure. Maybe you should do a video on how supporting Israel got injected into Christianity. It became a biblical thing with Israel. Well, it's also Israel is seen as differently than any of the Middle East, any of the Arab countries. And so the fact that Israel is there, within areas in which the Bible said, I mean, that's like Holy Land to Christians. So they think the Israelis will do a better job protecting it, even though Christianity and Judaism are really not compatible. Carlson Fuentes or Carlson Massey 2028. I don't think Carlson wants to run. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's changed. I don't think so. But the thing is with these people, you can't really take them at their word when they say they don't want to run, and then they have like this coming to God moment. They're like, oh, I have to do it because the government is lying, and so it's like, who knows? But I don't think Carlson wants to run. But there is a little bit of a break from Carlson with Trump and the administration for sure. How real is that, and how long will it last? I don't know. Let's call it what it is. Trump has the hots for Bondi. There's zero chance he actually thinks she's doing a good job. Yeah, I mean, people say he likes blondes. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate on it, but he's really been very complimentary of Bondi. That's true. Can't vote for Tucker because of his laugh. Yeah, the laugh is really bad. I mean, I would imagine you're being sarcastic, but when he gets going on his laugh, I remember I was live streaming one of these times. It was a little while ago, but his laugh was just like, bro. Bondi ain't that hot. Yeah, but to someone like Trump, to someone like as old as Trump, yeah, she would be deemed probably pretty hot. Stop acting like you wouldn't smash Bondi. I'd pass on Bondi, honestly. I'll definitely pass on Bondi. Do you know any underrated horror movies? I love horror movies. Wrong Turn is a good series. Wrong Turn. MTG is hotter. I saw MTG trying to have a book glow up. I don't know. Bondi will be 60. Yeah, well, the thing is, a lot of it's women in politics. They do a lot of things to try and keep themselves looking young. Let's see what Trump says here about Putin.
If Putin escalates further, how far are you willing to go in response?
In what?
How far are you willing to go if Putin were to escalate, send more bombs in the coming days?
Don't ask me a question like that. How far? I want to get the war settled. They're not Americans that are dying in it, and I have a problem, and JD has a problem. It's a stance that he's had for a long time. They're not Americans dying, but there are a lot of people dying, and on something that should be able to be settled. And we all agree with that. This group of people, we want to defend our country, but
if Putin escalates further, how far?
MTG, your number one crush? Seriously? I think Anna Paulina Luna is probably the hottest one. Representative or. Why do these reporters ask these retarded questions? How far were you willing to go? Yeah, I know, there really has to be more nuance. If you're in the fucking Oval Office, you have to understand that Trump is not going to answer certain things. He's just not. So you have to be able to think to yourself, yeah, maybe this is the end. I want to ask this question to get an answer because it'd be real juicy, but I know he's not going to answer the question. Maybe they just want a reaction from Trump. I don't know. But you would have to think of a very nuanced question that would be worded differently, that might, within the situation, and see if you can get a different perspective on where Trump's coming from. But yeah, you're right. What a just a dumb question. But maybe they just want Trump to crash out or something. I don't know. Yeah, we're not. This is it's every day now. It really is every day with the chat. The chat and these and the women. It's a lot of these women are nothing special. This is part of the modern problem we have. Now we're on to Pelosi being hot. Now we're really trolling. What would you ask Trump if you had a chance in the White House? Well, I mean, it would depend on what it would depend on the event that was happening. I mean, you have to ask him something in relation to the event. Your cat wants Clyde's number. Clyde's an older cat. He's not interested in some bimbo cat who's half his age. Thoughts on houses with a guest house detached? Those are impressive houses. That's interesting. I like that donation. Yeah, those are impressive houses. You got a whole guest house. I probably want it attached though. Well, I don't know. It's interesting. That altcoin really crashed. It's bullshit. It's whales that just ran it up. Then they pulled the rug out. How much is a normal house on a normal lot where you live? Well, I mean, so if you're talking about a brand new build, like a normal house for middle class family, 4 bedroom, three baths or 2.5 baths, it's gonna be about, for a new house, it's gonna be about 550, 600, maybe more, maybe more honestly. Now for the smaller houses where it's 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and there's barely any yard, then you get to like 350K. Thoughts on your crypto? My crypto is doing well. Yeah, the crypto is, it's gonna be, I don't know when they're doing the crypto stuff in the White House, but I think that's coming up pretty soon. But crypto is doing very well, especially for it being in the summer. I mean, it's gonna pump like crazy because in the summer normally it never pumps. And AOC is a 6 out of 10, but in politics she's like, yeah, it's like you have to bump them up like 3 points if they're in politics. Like, this is real slim pickings we got. Did you come close to scoring on Dogecoin? Well, I mean, I got into crypto in 2017. It was kind of hard to buy Doge in 2017. It wasn't really on any of the. I bought Litecoin in 2017, but yeah, I never got Doge. I never really came close to getting into Doge. Housing is so damn expensive. You're 23 and can't really afford to live without roommates. Yeah, I mean, it depends where you live. Rent though, it's gonna be like 1,000 at least. If you want a decent place, probably 1,200. But if you live in a city, it's probably gonna be like 2,000. Yeah, it's very expensive, and a home for young people is like impossible unless you have a really really rare situation. What's up with the title? Is it about what Laura Trump said? Yeah, it's about what Laura Trump said. That's basically it. You know, you got to title it something. I mean, that is true. Laura Trump said we're going to release stuff. That is serious. She said, you look at some of the influencers, they say they're going to release a bunch of stuff. They're doing a whole new approach to the Epstein thing there. But I don't know how they're going to patchwork it together. They already said they have nothing. You see New Jersey flooding right now? No, I haven't. Remember when someone asked me to look up the DC flooding and it's like an inch of water? They're like, it's like a puddle. They're like, I've never seen anything like this. Will housing get better? I mean, at some point, there's going to have to. I mean, people say it's a bubble, it's going to crash. Some people say, no, this is just how it is now. I think at some point, it's going to have to come down. I mean, it's out of control. You know, it hasn't repriced. We had the horrible inflation, but the housing stayed up. The inflation's come down, the housing hasn't. That's happened with a lot of different things, like Lego as well. It stays up, they leave it up. The housing is still up. We haven't seen it come back down. Want to see Matt Gaetz special counsel? Yeah, I think people would be really happy with that. That would be interesting if they did that, because there would be a lot of the base that would be. And you wonder, but you wonder what he'd be able to investigate. What do you think of the Pirate of the Caribbean movies? I never seen those, honestly, man. Well, actually, I saw one of them when I was at a ski resort randomly. Housing is getting better. 1,300 square foot. That's 1,300 square feet is small, bro. That's a very small home in North America. The average size home is like 3,000 square feet in North America. Or in the United States, I should say. In Canada, I think it's smaller. We need a big recession for housing to drop since Rates may soon get cut. Yeah, but they're not going to want a recession. The administration, you're not going to want a recession. But I mean, the problem is there needs to be a reset, I think. But no administration wants to have a reset. We already did have a reset. The problem was, they didn't handle it properly. They ran up the inflation too high. We had a reset because of COVID. Average house is 2,000 square feet. Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends. I guess I'm thinking of houses with families. What's your take on the Superman movie? Is it really woke? I don't know. I never seen it. I haven't heard a ton about the Superman movie outside of Ben Shapiro giving like a scowl, trying to be like a freaking, influencer. I didn't see what his take was on it. You were 50% off. What, on the home estimate? Yeah, that's because I thought we were talking like families. I mean, it's like 3,000. Yeah, it depends where you live, obviously, but we're talking about suburban areas. I mean, that's what will happen after the 50-day deadline. Well, apparently that he's going to impose 100% tariffs, or what he calls secondary tariffs. So there's going to be tariffs, aka sanctions, aka there's going to be some effect on the oil. So we'll see. I hopefully it doesn't happen. I mean, obviously Trump doesn't want to do it because you're giving him a 50-day deadline. It seemed like some of those NATO people were not too happy. They wanted it to happen immediately. They didn't want him to put out a 50-day wait period on it because he's just trying to allow Russia to make a deal, I guess. But I don't know if I don't think Russia will. Maybe something will happen logistically and it'll change to where Russia's forced to the table, but they are ramping up in terms of sending Ukraine stuff. I just can't see Russia's opinion being changed within 50 days because of some missile packages. People hate on renting because it's throwing away money and you won't own it. You don't own anything. Well, this is the thing with renting. If you're young, I think renting makes sense. At a certain point, you should buy a home, and it is an asset to have. And you should own property. I think that's good. But I think when you're young, buying a home and getting and having a mortgage when you're tethered to that in your mid-20s, I don't think that's really necessarily. It depends. I mean, it depends if you have a wife. It depends if you have a significant. I mean, there's a lot that goes into it. But for a lot of guys, I don't think it's a good idea to buy a home at a young age. I understand renting is like, well, but I mean, it is what it is. If it's $1,000, it's $1,000. If it's $1,200, is that really that much? If you're making significantly more and building it up, I mean, I don't know. I just wouldn't want to be tethered to a home at a younger age. Chad is asking Elmo Piers Morgan. So this is so this happened? I'm joking.
Okay, Elmo, you say your account was hacked. I have to take your word for that. If that is what happened here, do you condemn these posts?
Wow, so this is a huge exclusive that they're going to be doing. I can't wait for this to come out. Thoughts on marriage? Well, you want to believe in marriage it really is a contract. I mean, Depends your life situation. How about the cost of weddings now? How insane that is. Elmo. I guess Elmo wasn't hacked. This is the new form. Elmo is a groiper, and apparently he's doing an interview now, and he wants to be a big political voice in the United States, so we'll see. Interest rates will be cut on July 30th? I don't think so. Now, and not unless something changed, it surprised me if they were cut. They might be cut. I mean, it depends how much pressure they are able to put on Powell. I think Powell is going to try and hold out, though. Like, look at the betting. And look at the Fed predictor. It's got like a 3% chance of them cutting on July 30th. Have any scores on Polymarket? No, I don't use Polymarket. I don't bet on that. I don't really need to. It's just not. Matt Walsh now sends a message to Trump administration.
Now, of course, we have no idea what information, if any, this sociopath, this evil woman will ultimately reveal. But the fact remains that, especially after the humiliating display by Bondi and the DOJ we've all just witnessed, it's probably worth listening to Maxwell's testimony. If a client list exists at this point, she's the most likely person to tell us. Now, yes, it's an indictment of Pam Bondi and the DOJ that we see any reason to listen to a ghoul like this, but that's where we are. Millions of Americans are not satisfied with what we've been told. And we shouldn't be, because it's been contradictory and insulting to our intelligence every step of the way. So now we're looking elsewhere. This is what happens when people are deceived and strung along for years, only to be told that they're not entitled to any kind of transparency whatsoever. People are not just going to move on with their lives, no matter how badly you want them to. And there's a reason for that. And I want to make this very clear to those on the right, including the president himself, who are telling us to just drop the subject and move on. We can't drop it. We can't move on, because what we want is justice. We have a deep...
I agree. It looks like Matt Walsh is wearing a lot of makeup here. But I agree. They're not going to drop it. They're going to have to redo it. And the administration knows that. That's why they're coming. They're like, oh, they're leaking it all to all the influencers. We're going to look through everything. We're going to send in a special counsel. 2025, hell of a year. Thank you for the donation, man. Maxwell is a convicted sex crime felon. Never ask a witness a question unless you know the answer. Her testimony is worthless at best. Yeah, I think it's more of a desperation thing. But how much of the Maxwell stuff can you take seriously? I mean, she's already been... It just... What's the pinned video on this guy's account? It just looks like some Trump hype thing.
Discourse about Jeffrey Epstein. Is this appropriate for your members to be doing so? Do you want to see any action on that front?
The American people deserve to know the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth as it relates to this whole sordid Jeffrey Epstein matter. Democrats didn't put the Jeffrey Epstein thing into the public domain. This was a conspiracy that Donald Trump, Pam Bondi, and these MAGA extremists have been fanning the flames of for the last several years. And now the chickens are coming home to roost. The American people deserve to know the truth. What, if anything,
Isn't that just contradicting yourself, though? I mean, you just said the Democrats didn't do a jack shit about it. Did you hear Shapiro's take with Meghan? He cannot be trusted. If you think the administration is protecting pedos, just have the balls to say it. Fake binary choice. Yeah, well, I mean, obviously any of those Israel guys want the situation to go away. They're very against any of this stuff happening. They're trying to downplay it.
is the Trump administration and the Department of Justice hiding? What are you hiding? If you're not hiding anything, prove that to the American people. And if you are trying to hide something, as many of Donald Trump's MAGA supporters apparently believe, then the Congress should actually work hard to try to uncover the truth for the American people. There are only two things that are possible here.
But wasn't it just, you said it was a conspiracy theory, though?
Option one, Donald Trump, Pam Bondi, and the MAGA extremists intentionally lied to the American people for years about the Jeffrey Epstein situation. That's option one. Option two is that, in fact, there's reason for the American people to be concerned as it relates to what information has not been released that could be
I
damaging.
can't listen to this dude anymore. It's just like Gavin Newsom. We got to watch 5 minutes of this.
In the major thing with that I hear the most is the kids, and I don't know if California's one. I know Washington's one where, the state can come in and basically take your kid if you're against gender affirming care.
Yeah, there's some nuanced language and around that. There's about 21 states, by the way, just on the
of California's one. I know Washington's one where, the state can come in and basically take your kid if you're against gender affirming care.
Yeah, there's some nuanced language.
Dude, this guy is so feminine.
Around that. There's about 21 states, by the way, just on the California's hardly, again, it's not the only, everyone back to California, but about 20 other states, 21 states that tend to operate in this space similarly with sort of variants along the same rules.
Legs.
And obviously California is one of them. But no, look, hey, I didn't even mean to cut you off except to say, there's no doubt this issue, I thought it played a very significant and outsized role in the last election. I thought that and by the way, I told Chris that and Susie when I was at the White House. Susie Wiles, the chief staff, and Chris, who ran the campaign and a lot of the media, when I was over at the White House earlier this year, we had a conversation around the trans issue, which was fascinating. I wish that one was recorded. And then I met with the president right after, who was in the middle of a press conference as we were talking on the topic, and began a 90-minute meeting I had with him in the Oval talking about this very issue, where he said what I just said about you got abortion. And I was like, come on, man, it's not politics. There's human beings here, but I get it. I get the politics, but it's also about human beings. But
It's just the hand movements.
that trans ad, Kamala's for they, them, Trump's for you or something. That was powerful. And it was an unforced error of the Harris campaign not to push back on it. But they had a few moves to push back because it was what it was. That gender affirming care was afforded under a lawsuit when she was AG, and part of the settlement.
Yeah, I don't think this dude's gonna do anything. This guy's a disaster. He can't talk without burning 10 calories because his fucking hands are moving so much. This guy's a disaster. He's gonna have to really do a public tune-up or some shit. He's gonna have to go to speech therapy or something.
We have one country that has 17 Patriots getting ready to be shipped. They're not going to need them for them. So we're going to work a deal where the 17 will go, or a big portion of the 17 will go to the war side.
Favorite popsicle flavor? Probably the red flavor, I guess. Cherry. Cherry is probably the best flavor, if I had to say. Remember the pull-up popsicles, the ice freeze things? We used to have those. The blue flavor, it wasn't really light blue. It's just like dark blue, I guess. Push Pops, that's what it was. You know, I saw the one. I saw a bunch of the clips. I didn't see the full movie. You know, The Apprentice, the movie from 2024. So I got recommended some clips from it. So I watched pretty much all the clips. They really painted it Trump to be an asshole in it, with Roy Cohn. And I mean, it was decent acting, I guess, but it seemed slanted to me. Talk to us like Newsom for the rest of the show. I'd be out of breath. My hands would move too much. I'd drop like 4 pounds. I'd be down like 4 pounds. Dude, he was literally like, like, I mean, that's too much. That's not even a normal. See, that's the thing. This is fluid, and this is stuff that I do too. You move the hands like this, but when you do this is just not normal. No, you don't. No, you never make a normal movement like this when you're talking. See, this is a normal movement to move the hands and stuff like that. That's not a normal movement. You watched the movie? They painted Trump as a rapist. Yeah, I didn't see that part. I heard somebody was telling me that though. Wondering if Trump's World Trade Center 2 would have traditional steel beam construction. I think they would have had to have made the buildings different, a bit different. I mean, the exterior could be the exact same, but I don't think they would have went with the same design on the interior with you know, if they're building them in 2007, 2008, they would have had to have been. They weren't going to go with that core design and the open floor. I don't think they couldn't have. It wouldn't have been a modern approach. I mean, but those buildings, you really can't rebuild them like that because just of the way the slit windows, there's no natural light. You know, that's a no-go nowadays. To be fair, Trump's hand movements are also kind of not like that. That was like, you're watching this dude go through a fucking workout with his hands. I mean, it's every second there's some type of weird movement, and it's exaggeration. It's over the top. How come Trump does not fire Powell? Trump cannot fire Powell. He would be removed by Congress. Trump can recommend it, but he can't do it. Otherwise, it would already been done. If Bondi was a ginger, Trump would have fired her day one. It's just facts. Bruh. We take enough heat. We don't need this discrimination. I mean, she'd probably be better looking, honestly. Do you think 9/11 was an inside job or was it a true terror attack? Well, it's very complicated. I think in general, the core of 9/11 was a terror attack with people knowing it was going to happen beforehand. Certain individuals knowing that's what I would say about it. Did you see the altcoin rug? Just how you predicted it? It's terrible. You could tell when you have a chart like that. That's a completely inorganic chart. That's not how charts are supposed to look on Solana. It's an inorganic chart. And then what is the coin even? What is the meme coin? It's just called altcoin. It just doesn't make any sense. What you were seeing with Newsom's weird mannerisms is a SoCal thing. Lived here all your life. Boomers, Gen X, millennials on the left are weirdos. Yeah, that they do that a lot. I mean, but it is very strange. It's like different because everyone kind of talks with their hands to a degree, but unless you really try not to. But it's with him, it's like next level. It's just a constant, and it's just he breaks out like the rare, like the twinkle hands and the jazz hands come out during all these interviews. "9/11 facts you didn't know" is very good. Yeah, thank you. I did that. I should have made it a bit longer, but it's just like, well, it is what it is. Just get to the facts, I guess. I might do another one. It's part 2. How do you date a woman online? You don't do that. It's a waste of time. Your son works as a donation attendant at Goodwill. He said people bring the most shitty things like piss stained pillows and blankets. That's disgusting. Just throw it away if it's that bad. Nobody else wants that. Would you do more push-ups than Pam? I would hope I'd be able to beat Pam Bondi in terms of push-ups. I used to be able to pound out a good 40 or 50 push-ups. I don't know, not anymore. I could pound out some push-ups. Let's just say that. Kamala Harris would have won 47 out of 50 states if only non-whites voted. Idaho. Trump would have won Idaho. Wyoming. Utah. Idaho, Wyoming, Utah, I believe. What are your thoughts on the Epstein files being a setup to make the Trump administration look bad? No. I don't think we can really say that. I think that's really bad cope. If we're gonna go with that, this was just. I mean, this is a. To me, it's the way that this was done. There's obviously something that happened that shifted this into them not wanting to release something. Like, I don't buy the fact that Pam Bondi just lied. Because that's what Tucker Carlson said. He said, I don't know why she just lied. Why would you lie that you have stuff and then you don't have? I think she had stuff and then she said, and then they told her, you're not to release this. That's what I think. Laura Trump has to be a credible source, right? She's Trump. Yeah, and she always pumps the stuff. She always gives the stuff to the influencers to shill and stuff. So I think they're definitely going to look into stuff more because they know the pushback is pretty severe. Jurassic World Lego sets at Walmart, 250 pieces, 60. That's absurd. 250 pieces, it's like a fucking minifigure. It's like a little Jurassic World. What is it? Like a fucking 1-inch tall dinosaur? And it's $60. They never brought those prices down, I don't think. That's the problem. Socialism and communism only hurt yourself. Well, I mean, incentivizing everyone to be average sounds like a Sounds like a good idea. I don't know. We should try it. It might be good this time. Would you ever live in New Mexico? No, I wouldn't live in New Mexico. It just doesn't interest me. Also, the climate. I need a colder climate, I think. $800, 900 pieces, $160. Yeah, there used to be sets. There were like 1,200 pieces for $100, and it's just gotten out of control. Honestly, they fucked up their credibility so much. You don't think there's anything they could release that would be enough red meat for the? Yeah, I think there is. If they got Clinton or someone, yeah, there would be enough. But then obviously Democrats would say, well, they're only releasing things that are against Democrats. But then that would be a party issue. But I think that would pretty much help with the base. If they could release certain things, I think that would definitely be enough red meat. Will they release them, though? And do they have them? Thoughts on Ghislaine Maxwell willing to testify? Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen. Yeah, Clyde's doing fine. Biggest gooner in DC? I don't know, Lindsey Graham. No, we're not doing that again. Hopefully we don't run into another fucking semi-attractive female. It'll be real bad. Really? We're already that's wow. You'll get this in the summer. Bad flooding. Pump fund coin, really? People think that pump fund coin is gonna do good. It's already at $1 billion. What's the point? Fully diluted, it's $5 billion. There's no point in investing into that.
Honestly, I'm done talking about Epstein for the time being. I'm going to trust my friends in the administration. I'm going to trust my friends in the government to do what needs to be done, solve it, balls in their hands. I've said plenty this last weekend. So if you guys want to see my commentary on it, that's fine. Honestly, I'm done talking about it.
What we really need to be talking about is the America First MAGA movement is at a fork for 2028. Yeah, well, I think a lot of the Elon people are probably going to go over to whatever his party is. The America Party. O'Neal Cruz, 513 feet. Wow. What in the home run derby? Charlie Kirk literally said he'll trust the government. Well, of course, he has relationships with all these people. They gave him a phone call. They told them we'll handle this. We're whatever. Just you know how it is.
I am an alien.
You are. Please,
Yeah.
now you are uncovered.
Yes. I keep telling people I'm an alien, but nobody believes me.
Never.
Calls himself an alien.
This is it's a real victory, I think, for the future of American education. And I was so pleased with the Supreme Court's ruling today, and it just really reemphasized the fact that the president, clearly, of the United States is the head of the executive branch, and he's the one that has the ultimate authority over staffing levels, administrative organization, et cetera. And through his appointees, which are the secretaries that head these agencies, he expects.
That's a big win there. Honestly, the biggest issue is that too many of these commentators have trapped themselves in defending Trump, and now they are trapped. The bigger picture is who we want for 2028. Well, I mean, 2028, it's like who even arises in 2028? I don't really see anyone outside of, it seems like you're going to have maybe a few establishment candidates, which aren't going to do well. I don't think DeSantis would run again. Rubio is probably going to be a second fiddle to Vance, and I don't really see anyone in 2028. You can say, if you really want the anti-Israel stuff, Massey, but I don't think Massey's that good of a politician. Do you know that CoffeeZilla, he's covering the Epstein cover-up, but pisses me off? Yeah, he's like a liberal. But all those guys that do that, they're just all, you look at that dude and he covers things like that. It's like, I thought he covered scams and stuff, and so now he does this. Yeah, whatever. Yeah, I don't think Tucker's running. I know a lot of you guys are further right, so you want Tucker. No, and I understand it. I really do. Tucker said he wasn't going to run. Do you think NASDAQ 420 will stay up all the way to the bull run? Well, I think it'll go on a major run, and then it might have a pullback. To me, I don't even think it's gone on it hasn't gone on its first major run yet. Think about it. It's not even at its all-time high. People are too retarded not to elect someone because they're not completely charismatic. Ah, come on, man. You look at it, Massey. It's not there. If it's not there with a politician, it's not there. I mean, it's just the reality. That's how politics are. NASDAQ 420 artwork is, yeah, they got a really good team there. Tucker's too weak around other world leaders. His interview with Putin was embarrassing and pathetic. Well, I honestly, if I was interviewing people, I never would do that language barrier bullshit. How can you have a conversation with someone through the language barrier stuff and the translation? I think it's a terrible way to talk to people. I understand people speak different languages, but I'm just saying in terms of trying to do like an interview it's going to be combative, we would think. Obviously Putin hijacked the conversation. So, but it's like, it's hard to control that because you're in Moscow, and it's a little bit different component when you have the language thing. Do you know what they're releasing as far as Epstein goes? No, I don't think they've revealed exactly what they're releasing, but there's been a major change within the administration, and according to Laura Trump, and she's told all the big influencers, they're going to be releasing stuff in relation to it. Yeah, I'm not sure what's going to make the base happy at this point. There's going to have to be some big fish that's caught, and I don't know if it's going to happen. His Iran interview was awful. Got through 1 minute. I never listened to it, the Iran interview. Really happy to see the growth of the channel, man. Almost 300K. With the growth, do you think you'll change content, or will it always be in the corner commentary? Yeah, I don't know. I have been trying to do more videos where it's not like that. Because those, I know, I think the videos could be better, but a lot of the problem is just, you know, I'd have to get a real good camera and shit if I did actual videos. People say I should, you know, do more videos with my full face and have a better camera. Yeah, and I agree. I'm gonna do more videos like that, I think, but I think the content will change. The content, it's gonna have to evolve at some point. I mean, I would hope, but I mean, then again, I don't know if I really need it to, but I would rather evolve it. Would million deportations a year isn't gonna be enough to make MAGA satisfied? No, it would be 100%. Listen, those people don't really know the actual immigration numbers. If Trump puts a target of 1 million, and you talk about, I mean, 1 million is still a ton of deportations. The problem is the amount of illegals we have in the country, but 1 million is still a lot of deportations. You know, and they make this quota, and if they hit the quota, they'll be able to market that, you know, amazingly. I mean, if you look at the base, they really haven't bitched too much about the deportation numbers, even though they've been bad. Who do you prefer, Tucker Carlson versus Megyn Kelly? Carlson. Remember back in April, you were milking the Alberta situation. Yeah, you know, channels still do that, and I was looking. Yeah, it's just weird things. It's like Greenland. Like, who the fuck is talking about Greenland? The algorithm is so strange. How you get views off of the Greenland situation, even though it's dead in the water right now. Like nobody's talking. There's not in the news, but you can still do videos on the Alberta situation, and they'll get views. I don't know if it has to do with like the idea of there being some type of territory change, or I don't know what it is, but. And I was going to do another video on the Canada situation, but I couldn't find an actual update. I'm like, there's no news on it. Maybe there is news now, and I just didn't know, but I didn't find it. Do you think aliens are real? Well, they have to be real. Space is too large. It would be impossible for them not to be real. But I mean, whether or not they've been in contact, that's the real question. Can you explain the title? Well, it's just the administration is going to release some stuff on Epstein to try and placate to the base. Dating advice for a female: keep your body count low. Drop the UFO files. What about the 9/11 stuff? That's the stuff that I would want. You know, they're gonna drop a bunch of stuff about Saudi Arabia and the 9/11 stuff. That's the crazy thing with the 9/11 stuff. It's become this taboo thing with like, oh, Israel and stuff. And sure, I mean, there's definitely implications, but there's a lot of stuff with Saudi Arabia and 9/11. A lot. You're going to a Cleveland Guardians game in 2 weeks. Any recommendations near the stadium? There's a bunch of bars near the stadium that are. I never really ate a ton near the stadium, like at restaurants. But there's a few like bar restaurants near the stadium. That's about it. I don't think you'll be very impressed with Cleveland. It depends. There's newer areas like the Flats. Just depends where you go. If a video does poorly, does it hurt your analytics too much, or does it depend? Well, honestly, I don't even know. Like, if a video does bad, it's one of those things to where I don't really think I don't think it really hurts the channel just because of how much I upload. Now, if I only uploaded like once every 4 days and I have bad video, then maybe it would hurt the next videos that I release. I don't think it really works like that if you upload multiple times a day. Just because there's so much volume, it's not going to have a huge impact. Yeah, okay, now everyone's asking me dating advice. I don't have any dating advice. What do you think? You heard they just did a revamp of the stadium. I think they've butchered the stadium. Yeah, they changed the stadium completely. It's just like, if you go to the stadium, they were dealing with a problem with attendance. They couldn't sell. They couldn't. Most of the seating was not used because our attendance was so bad. So they took out a bunch of the seats. But it looks like shit, honestly. It really does. And they say it's good. It's a bunch of social spaces. They've got all these bar areas. They've got these drink rails. It's like, how drunk are people? They fucking put up these They literally have rows of drinking rails where you stand. There's no seats, but you've got like a big. God, what the fuck is that called? You've got like a big like an island to put your drink. But it's people are obsessed with drinking there, and there's like this corner bar which is down the first base line. People love the corner bar. I don't even recognize the stadium anymore, honestly. But the channel getting bigger, would you ever consider doing a call-in show segment? You talked about running out of things to talk about in the streams. Yeah, I mean, that would be interesting to do something like that. I'd have to get an actual phone number, though, and do it legitimately instead of doing some type of Discord thing. Yeah, Jacobs Field was an amazing ballpark. It really was. It was a beautiful ballpark, Jacobs Field. Also invite libs on to debate. LOL. Think your personality would feed off another person on stream going back and forth. Yeah, I mean that is definitely a that is definitely an entertaining thing that you can monetize, is that type of stuff. I haven't seen many debates recently. I guess Charlie Kirk had one, pro-Israel versus Dave Smith. I didn't watch it though. Sean, I appreciate it. Been watching the 9/11 videos, so good. Can't believe the one guy called in live from the Twin Towers. The whale enters. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I just made another 9/11 video. Get Elmo on. Well, I mean, Piers Morgan got him on. It's gonna be pretty hard. Elmo's he's a little bit too high for my pay grade. He's a little bit too much of a celebrity. Ben Shapiro said most Americans don't care about the Epstein files. Well, they're obviously trying to minimize it. I think a lot of the Republicans definitely care about it. It's disingenuous to say that. But these are things where, it's in the moment, people are going to react, and Shapiro obviously is self-serving when he says that in terms of, his allegiance to Israel. Dating advice for furries: get out of the costume. Get some therapy. I'm not even sure therapy would help. It probably nowadays therapy would probably affirm your furry feelings. Mean Gene with $100. I appreciate it. The Supreme's allowing Trump to cut government jobs unhindered is huge, great news. / the State Department and Education and IRS. Yeah, I just saw that. There's been some good. We've been on a roll with the Supreme Court. Not surprising because it's Republican, but get an annual Zune pass for furries. That they probably meet some interesting animals that would be interested. Did you see that Swole Doge coin go crazy? No, I didn't see that. Swole Doge. Is it an older coin? Because the newer coins, I don't care if the newer coins do really well. When an old coin goes crazy, I get excited for it. You still have the stream and the minute of the I'm black, I'm black, I'm black. You want to make it a short out of it? I mean, I would like to make a short out of it. Looking like NASDAQ 420 will break 1 penny tomorrow. Well, it's a process. It's a process. Whether it breaks it or not, it's irrelevant. The coin is going to be... Think about it. We haven't even had a real run yet. The coin is going to be unbelievable, I think. You know, whether it breaks 1 cent in tomorrow or not, you know, you hold it. You wait for the alt season. The alt season is still months away, I would imagine. Paying you has been so strong. Yeah, but that coin's got a really high market cap. Went up 5,000% in 24 hours last 7 days. 7 days old at that point. Swole Chad Doge. Yeah, I mean, when a coin's 7 days old, come on. Rude Epstein list isn't going to make me not vote for the GOP in midterms. You will never allow the Dems to win Texas. Texas stays red. Paxton and Dan Patrick, 2026. Wait, Dan Patrick? The radio host? Too many Jews on the Epstein list. That's why they can't show us the real list. Well, it's not even that. What it is it's Mossad coordinating with Epstein to blackmail U.S. politicians, and so they've got dirt on U.S. politicians. So then our politicians will give into any incentive structure to Israel. I mean, that's the problem. It's the blackmail through Mossad and Epstein is the problem that they don't want to come out. You see the rug pull on altcoin? Yeah, I mean, somebody told me about it. It's unfortunate, but these things, it's like people have to realize. It's sad to see. Palantir were ripping today. Defense budget up. Yeah, I know the defense budget's up. Isn't it at 1.01 trillion now? That's the new defense budget. Can you see my new picture? No, it's too small, bro. I can't. I'd have to like fucking get a magnifying glass. The pictures are too small. Some of them I can see. Like one, it looks like it's Giannis Antetokounmpo, but there is no client list. What now? Well, they're gonna release something. They're probably gonna release. They're probably gonna unseal depositions and shit like that. Yeah, I'll go to Eric. Trump will be in Pennsylvania, the inaugural Pennsylvania Energy Innovation event. Massive flooding. Bitch, what are you doing? That's gotta be a female driver. You good at algebra? I was never good at algebra. I was really good at math in like 6th, 7th grade. You know, any of the adding, subtraction, addition, division. Addition is the same thing as adding. Fuck. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division. Now, I was really good at that. I didn't need a calculator or anything. And then I got to the algebra and it's like, fuck off with this. It's like, just fuck off. I was horrible at chemistry too. If you were advising, then should your favorite justices retire or gamble and wait till 27? I appreciate the $20 donation. Yeah, I would always err on the side of caution with that. But they, I mean, Thomas is certainly great. I think they could probably make it. Do you think most of the heavy rain is being caused by weather manipulation? No, I don't. I think it's just they get storms in the summer. I know they've been talking about the Rainmaker and you know they seed the clouds. They do that, but it's supposed to be in dry areas. They're getting old though. Yeah, but I mean, look at ACB. I mean, when you appoint someone, it's not a guarantee they're going to be as based on those topics. We need Christians on the Supreme Court. Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to do a really thorough vetting. Vance, oh, he's still on Blue Sky. Just got exciting announcement of my political future, Trump 2028. Oh, there you go, man. Trump 2028, the donator. Supreme Court victory. But the clouds had other plans. So sexy.
It's rather unusual for El Taco Loco, a taco shop near 67th Avenue and Indian School, to have their doors locked on the outside and an empty dining room on the inside. The West Valley Taco Joint also operates a bus in Goodyear and a food truck in Southwest Phoenix. Here at 55th Avenue and Baseline is where El Taco Loco's food truck typically stands. People in this area tell us this has really been a food truck staple of the South Phoenix area. People believe it may have been seized yesterday as part of a federal investigation, and because of that, it is not here today. Tuesday afternoon, people in the South Phoenix area started posting videos on TikTok showing federal agents with HSI and ICE taking workers out of the food truck in handcuffs. And just a mile down the road, the home belonging to the taco shop's owner, Vladimir Angulo, also flooded with federal agents. It's one of 5 locations where HSI and ICE were investigating allegations of human smuggling and harboring of illegal immigrants. The U.S. Attorney's Office for the District of Arizona tells 12 News Angulo is in federal custody, awaiting charges related to this case. At previous stops here in the Valley, President Trump's border czar Tom Homan warned these kind of arrests were coming.
If you knowingly harbor and conceal an illegal alien from ICE, that is a felony, and there will be consequences. Now, let me make...
Well, you just got to wonder how many situations there are like that. Trump 2028. Yeah, I figured that was coming. Ted Cruz would make a good Supreme Court pick. Reminds you of Chicago and McDonald's. Of McDonald's in Chicago that had to prohibit people under 18 from going inside because of black teams committing crimes. Well, yeah, a lot of those, they have to put up bulletproof glass at a lot of those smaller convenience stores in hooded areas. And it got so bad to where they would have even Targets, and you've seen this in San Francisco and other places. You go into Target, you get anything. It can be something that's $6. You have to ask someone to come over, turn a key. It opens up the actual aisle area for you to grab the item. I mean, my goodness. I mean, that's how liberals live. You know how long I've waited for them to actually arrest people hiring illegals? 30 years, man. This is huge. Right? I mean, this is a different, another form of accountability. It's just more damage. You want a justice that will overturn gay marriage? Yeah, I mean, the question is it right now in this political climate, is that worth? I mean, I know it seems like people are getting more further to the right on that. It's like it's turning back because there was this huge push in the early 2000s for it. But I don't know if that would be a political fight that would be popular for Republicans. I mean, even the Roe v. Wade thing, you can say it was a good thing that it happened, but it undoubtedly caused them to lose the midterms. A Jew started the LGBTQ. Yvonne, thank you for the donation. The E-files, Epstein files basically proved it's all over. $2 Canadian. I appreciate it. What do you mean it's all over in terms of just the Trump being a part of it and nothing's ever going to come out? If Jelaine is about to suddenly turn suicidal, or her testimony going to be worthless, I think it'll be worthless, honestly. I mean, somebody made a good point in the chat about that.
What would be your advice? Given this back and forth, we're just coming off of Turning Point here in Tampa. This was the topic of conversation. What would be your advice in order to take the temperature down on this issue from within the administration?
Well, I do think that there needs to be more transparency on this. And I think that will happen. I mean, look, I don't know what truly exists there, but I know that this is something that's important to the president as well. He does want transparency on all these fronts, that everything we're talking about, because it's frustrated him as well. He sat for 4 years like the rest of us did and saw lie after lie and saw our country just being sent down the wrong path. And it was really frightening and very upsetting to a lot of people to see. And I would actually say over the past 10 years, we've all kind of endured this. Prior to that, it was probably happening, Benny, but we just weren't as aware of it. It wasn't until Donald Trump came down that golden escalator that he just kind of blew the doors off of everything. And people started to wake up and realize, wait a minute, things are not as they have always been presented to us. And I do believe that you will see that. Now, as it relates to the president, I know that this is probably not his number one thing he's focused on. He's focused on a lot of other important things. We've got this big announcement with Russia going on, I think, as we're speaking right now at the White House. We have, a Middle East, we're trying to get peace over there. We're trying to make sure that Iran's nuclear arsenal is obviously completely decimated. We want to make sure everything is on the right track for this country. Fortunately, you've seen no border crossings in the last month. 0, by the way. I think that's incredible. No one's talking about that enough. 0 illegal border crossings in the month of June.
All right, get to the point.
Amazing how that's all gone. So I don't know that this was top of mind for him, but he hears all the noise and he hears all of the consternation out there. And I think he's going to want to set things right as well. So I believe that there will probably be more coming on this. And I believe anything that they are able to release that doesn't, damage any witnesses or anyone underage or anything like that, I believe they'll probably try to get out sooner rather than later because they hear it and they understand it. So hopefully we see that happen sooner than later. And I guess that would be my advice. But to everybody out there who's all worked up about it, there's no great plot to keep this information away that I'm aware of. I do just believe that maybe it's been slow rolled for reasons that hopefully we understand down the line. And I think we're probably going to.
It seems like she's guesstimating, honestly. Gay marriage is far, far different than the BS trans movement and transitioning children. Oh, yeah, that shouldn't be happening at all. And hopefully that's an 80-20 issue, but if Trump is compromised, there's zero hope. It means there is no one that would not be compromised. That's what you mean by it's all over. Yeah, but the thing that you have to realize with Trump really, I mean, we can say he was an outsider in the political sense, because he wasn't a mayor, he wasn't a representative, he wasn't a governor, he wasn't in either the chambers. But Trump had connections to all these politicians, and he was in their circles. So I know what you're saying, and it's like he's the outsider, so how can he be compromised? Well, I mean, he's a multi-billionaire. It's a little bit different than this being a true outsider. But yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate. I mean, it's a big machine, the government is. It's also incredibly naive to think that Trump is fully excluded from the swamp 100%. Dumb question, who is Laura? The wife to Eric, I believe. Eric Trump. You will never vote for a woman as president. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely because you got to be able to command and lead, and it's very strange. The thing is, though, if Kamala would have been president, when I was younger, I was very ironclad about that, not voting for a female just because I didn't think they could really lead men. It wouldn't make sense. But with the Democrats, it's not even like it's weird. They have like such a, they move as a blob is what I say, the Democrats. They really do have a system to where I think they're just missing an actual leader. They had one with Obama, but ever since then, it's like they're just missing it. Biden and Harris, the two candidates that they have had, they're just terrible. There's no leadership with either of them. Whether it's Biden or Harris, you want to say male versus, it's irrelevant. Neither of them are leading anything. Yeah, I mean, there's also the thing to where it's like, how much power do you really have? Dan Bongino came to work, here to stay. Yeah, I would imagine. Should Elon Musk go all in on the America Party? It would take a narrow Republican lead away. No America Party, R+1. With America Party, Dem +4. America Party takes 5% total. Yeah, this is the issue with this. I mean, whether or not this polling is right, Echelon Insights, yeah, they're a pretty known pollster, but this is the problem. It siphons Republican votes, as depicted here. IFO, I appreciate it. If they knew the Epstein files had innocents or people to be protected, why not just say that from the start? The whole thing was botched terribly. Well, no, that I've been making the same exact point. You have to be open and honest about it. This is the problem that I have. It's what Bondi said compared to what their final memo was. You know, so they're basically saying either Bondi blatantly lied or somebody told Bondi, you're not going to be releasing any of this, whatever you have, to protect the government, to protect Israel, to protect whoever. I mean, that's the problem. Elon is pretty inconsistent. Will the America Party even happen? You hope not. I don't know. I mean, I don't even think they have filed to be able to do it. It's another thing also with the America Party to take into account. You know, it should be that Republicans are going to make it very hard for them to get on the ballots. I don't know if they're going to be able to get on the ballots in some of these states in this short notice with 2026. I'm not sure they're going to be able to do it. NASDAQ 420 is ripping. Yeah, NASDAQ 420 is phenomenal. Just hold it. Just hold it and just enjoy the ride. You think Elon has a punchable face? No, I don't really get that from Elon. 6-3 victory. That's how pretty much they all should go. Or 8-1. Matt Walsh has a punchable face. Yeah, Walsh would be a better choice for that. Walsh and Tucker Carlson are playing up the same bet, it looks like. This is Trump giving the weapons, sending the weapons to Ukraine, U.S. not paying a single penny for them. Ryan Day has a punchable face. Ryan Day is an interesting case. When did you get into NASDAQ? Probably when it was even before its initial run, even. So it would have been like early December, I would say. Early December. Have you heard about Mexico's president sue Jeffrey Lichman for exposing El Chapo's connections to corruption in Mexican government, along with the last 10 Mexicans president? Oh man, yeah, what an infestation Mexico is. Of course, there's connections. Those cartels run the governments. It's the cartels are the governments. The government's the cartel. The cartel's the government. There's got to be so much influence. I mean, it's got to be terrible to be a politician in Mexico. AIPAC controls the Democrats. Well, they exude significant control on both parties. They have bipartisan support. AIPAC. You think Susie has so much influence with Trump? Don't even know what her job is. Chief of Staff, Susie Wiles. You're talking about? You think she likes Bondi? Would you ever wear a beanie? Well, if it's cold out, I guess. I've worn beanies before when it's you have to shovel the driveway and stuff. It's cold. Remember the memory hold Fort Knox audit? That's what Musk's gonna run on. That's a uniparty thing. Oh, we're gonna audit that. Nobody even cares about that though. It's not something that's gonna get people excited. You think Trump's only keeping Bondi around because she's hot? I don't know. I feel like Bondi is kind of a nothing. I think Bondi's a robot. To me, I just you're talking about attorney general. There has to be an ego that you have. I feel like, is that not a role that requires an ego of some sorts? It seems like she's a robot to me. Now listen, whether this was her mess up or not, it very well might not have been. They were probably going to release something, and then they got told you're not to release this. I mean, that could have happened. Would it be more likely that Dems cheated in 2020 on the ballots themselves, or that they cheated by suppressing the Hunter Biden laptop story, which would have swayed at least 1 million? Well, I mean, the problem with the laptop story we know was blatant manipulation. The question is that they can have plausible deniability and say, well, we don't know if it would have swung the election. The other component, that the actual voter fraud, that would have been blatant cheating. The laptop, that's like more, well, they controlled at that point all of the major social medias, the Democrats did. And so it was suppressed. And remember, they put out that story saying, oh, this is fake, it's not real. And because that came out like 5 or 6 days before the election or whatever. And of course, it ended up being true. Love your streams. I appreciate that. Thank you. Age is a number for dating or having kids. Well, you got to have, if you're a woman, you got to have kids by a certain age. Seems like a lot of the people in the base are easily propagandized too. Demanding Bondi's resignation is a huge cope. Trump makes the final call, falls squarely on him. Well, they wanted to find a fall guy. I mean, that's just, they're trying to defend Trump, and so the immediate thing is, well, so who do we go to? They don't want this to come back and really sink Trump. So the immediate thought is, well, it's Bondi's fault. Well, now Trump says, no, we're not getting rid of Bondi. So now it's, well, we're going to release stuff. And apparently Bondi fired someone underneath her, I think, is what happened. But that's not going to solve this. DJT said Bondi is working on 2020 election fraud. Yeah, I know. I mean, it would be great if they actually found something concrete that we could say, that we could use for that. It really would be awesome. But we need something concrete. What is this dating advice channel? He's not a dating coach. Yeah, people ask me about that stuff. Pam Bondi is mid. Yeah, there's the chat. It's any female. It's gonna be a simping session. You got to get used to it. Trump stopped talking about Epstein. It was years ago. Also, let's investigate 2020. Yeah, but to be fair, I mean, 2020 had a direct impact on him. I mean, we can argue that it was better that Trump, took those 4 years off, and just because the setup was better. But still, I mean, if they did a cheat like that should be exposed for sure. Still totally weird that nobody has taken responsibility for the memo. Well, it follows, and the DOJ is responsible for it. They're all responsible for the memo. They all sign off on it to a degree. Apart from the Epstein stuff, you feel like Pam should have gotten a lot more arrest lawsuits with the Tesla firebombings and ICE riots. Well, it's all relative. I mean, they could have gotten a lot of arrests, and some of them are not publicized. It's like, what is the proper number in terms of arrests for these events? No, we can't really say, well, if there's not, 400 arrests, it's bad. These are all like figures that are floating. But I mean, I guess if we're not seeing many arrests, then you could say, yeah, I mean, the fire bombings were terrible with what happened there. I know they got a few people, but it's crazy how liberals just think they can act like that, and it's just because, I mean, they're told that Trump is like the worst thing ever, so they can just do whatever, I guess. Dems were lied to for 4 years on 2020. Well, the Dems will never believe that they cheated, let's be honest. Yeah, but it was released to Axios, and why wasn't it signed? That was super weird. I mean, are they talking about it not being consistent with normal releases? Why does the EU guy glaze Trump so much? I don't know who you're talking about. Who, the NATO guy? You're 27, so you would say a girl like 23 to 27 is your dating range? Yeah, I mean like 20 to 27. 20 to 26, you probably want to be older than the girl. I mean, if you're the same age, yeah, if you're the same age, it's not bad. If the girl is older, it's a strange dynamic. What about a cougar? It's not. You definitely don't date a cougar if you're a young guy. Trump sold a lie to white people, rednecks. What, that he was going to drain the swamp? Arresting some high-level chesters that Epstein blackmailed would be a good start to gain cred. Foreign spies. Foreign spies, they're Israeli spies. Are they going to touch them? Trump has fired thousands of people from the worst DOJ, state, etc. Shut down US aid. He's official drink. Yeah, I mean, shutting down US aid is a good thing for sure. Getting that out of our government. The money laundering in that I heard was terrible. But even if it wasn't, we weren't even using the function of it properly. BlackRock owns Fox News, CNN, NBC, Disney, and Trump Media. They all control America Media. Well, they do have some significant influence. I mean, there's like 3 big conglomerates that control pretty much everything. Covering college football. Yeah, I mean, when it happens, I'll do my predictions very likely, probably. But I'm not going to cover it. I mean, it's the off season. There's not much to say on it. Dated a 38-year-old at 23. Dude. How old do you date? I don't date old. I date my preferably my age, really 2 or 3 years younger. But I mean, it depends, I guess. Depends on the situation, but the age range should be no younger than half your age plus 7. Yeah, I've heard that before for men. It's half your age plus 7 years. So 22-year-old. Yeah, that's understandable. Brown starting QB. It'll be Flacco, and then I think they'll bench him like 7 games in. He's too old. They're gonna bench him. They're gonna have to play one of the young quarterbacks, probably Sanders. Now the half your age plus 7. If you're 24 dating a 21-year-old, that seems pretty normal. Epstein files release a promise made by President Trump. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, obviously, people are ripping into him because of this. It's a bad look. Pam Bondi fired her ethics advisor. Yeah, she fired someone just to try and save face. We'll see if it works. I'm sure it's not going to work. If they would have removed Bondi, maybe that would have done something. It's Yeah, here's the bombshell report. Biden used auto pens. You should drop dating advice video. I'm not interested in doing a dating advice video, honestly. What's Elon Musk saying? Anything? Nah, Elon's been pretty quiet recently. You know, Elon is obviously very happy about the situation happening in the way it is, to where it's a uniparty problem, Republicans and Democrats, and so Musk can kind of use that and market it. But nobody really knows what Musk's going to do with that party, if it's even going to happen, or seems like a money drain. Do you care if they're tall? No, you don't date girls taller than you. You like the dating vid when you met the chunky chink off? Nah, that girl wasn't fat. She was worse looking in person. That she wasn't fat though. Thoughts on Matt Gaetz allegations? I don't know. I mean, who knows, man. I heard it was fabricated, is what I heard with the Matt Gaetz stuff. It's gonna be tough to get him confirmed though. They wouldn't be able to get him. He's not gonna make it through. So that's why they had to pick Bondi. There will literally never be a third political party. Well, if there's three, there's probably going to be 4 or 5. That's the thing. I don't think it would just go to 3. I think it would be, they would split off, but it splits into all these different. To me, I don't think the multiple parties where it's like 4 or 5 parties is. I don't think it's a good thing. You want a virtual kiss? Not from me, man. I don't swing that way. I do get compliments from men, and it's because my audience is like, it's 99% male. The problem with confirming Gates would be that openly confronts both parties, which is good. Yeah, but he would never get confirmed. That's the problem. And then it's the same questions. It's the same questions. We have to do it over and over. How tall am I? You know, just constant gooning stuff. Show us your cat. Heaviest woman a man should date. Well, it's proportional. If you're a fat dude, you're probably gonna date a fat girl. But you know, with women and their weight, I think this like 120, 125, I think is a good weight for women. Thoughts on my coins? My coins are doing great. My coins are doing great, man. When you got something like, I mean, look at this. When you have something sitting here like I mean, this hasn't, we haven't even started yet. It hasn't even reached a new high. You'll do a 2x to a new high. And then look at these people trying to trade out. It's just like, what are you trading for, bro? You're trading this is a diamond hander. You think we're gonna sell we're not selling shit. Here's the coin for you guys. This is the coin that you guys wanted. Oh, it's still at 4 million. Yeah, somebody CTO this. CTO this. Yep, show the girl. Yep. Luckily, there's no video of a fucking women with their legs. That would be a big problem for the chat. That would be 10 straight minutes I would never get back of looking at thirst comments over, honestly, sexy legs. But it's like, okay, we get it. Give us a scale of how many pounds. I mean, with women, again, if they're like 5'4", 5'3", it's like, I think it's 120 is what you want. Well, think about it. It might be less than that, honestly. I mean, because if I'm a man and I'm like 5'10", basically, like 5'10" and a quarter, and I'm 155, they're going to have to be a lot less than that. Please display the cat of small variety. Oh my goodness. This disappoints me. What website is this? This is a deck screener. Deck screener? You're like Oppenheimer because the gooning thing got way worse after you said you were leaving for a goon sesh at the end of a stream. That was a it was a joke. It's a joke. The babe was so hot. Well, we know what you did after the stream. Vibe. Yeah, sometimes you have good coins. This is what I'm asking from you. This is what I'm asking from you. But nothing with these animals. Boy, this coin, you gotta wait for an accumulation zone. This coin's still dropping. This coin might drop under a mil. Yeah, this coin has not reached accumulation yet. What was her name? Alex Clark. I should feed the chat whatever they want. What does that even mean? Yeah, the 4chan coin. No, I agree with you on the 4chan coin. That's one that people don't talk about. But I don't know about the Vibe coin, the Hee coin. It's like, what even is it? It's just some like you like the Solana coins. That's the problem. See, you like Solana, I like Ethereum. That's the difference, man. What is the brain rot in your chat? Yeah, it gets really bad. Would you rather Trump 2020, 2016 or 2024? Pros and cons to both. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, this recent stuff. I think Trump 2024 is a much more refined person, and his leader, his ability to pick his cabinet. Even I mean, you just have so much more relationships. So you're gonna want you'd think you'd want the newer one. The older one did have a few more further right takes, though. Interestingly enough. The trade deal, yeah. I'm glad I don't have to see that question anymore. One of the trade deals going to happen. Whatever you do, please ignore the gooners. Well, then that's fucking most of my audience. It's hard to, when it's most of your audience, it's hard to do. Tr 2016 Trump is better than 2024. Ironically, Massey trying to be like Trump in 2016. Now Trump wants Moss. Yeah, I know what you're saying, because Trump called out the Israel funding in 2016, and now, yeah. But I mean, when you're talking just from a pure getting things done in D.C., Trump is way better than he was. Who will win the All-Star game? The AL. I think the AL will win the All-Star game. Creating DG Sleeping Cat coin. Great, Clyde. Did Cal Raleigh win the Derby? Yeah, let's see this pump fund going. This is a fake one. Oh, it's a fake one. Yeah, it's unfortunate, man. This is the real one. The sweet spot of Trump was that Sassiness of 2016 and the knowledge connections of 20. Yeah, but the knowledge and connections ruin it, you know? So it's kind of like a double-edged sword. Epstein's still alive, snuck out in the middle of the night in a wheelchair, per 4chan post, before public knew of his death. Yeah, he's living in some island or something. Remember there were those photos that were supposedly Epstein that surfaced years after? If Trump won 2020, then Pence would be a disaster. I think Pence was just a lapdog. I mean, but yeah, Pence obviously was not really someone you want as Trump's VP. Pump coin? Yeah, what a joke. They had a pre-sale for it. It's funny how they have a pre-sale so no one can actually make money off of it. It's hilarious how that works. See, they could have, well, I mean, I guess you kind of have to have a pre-sale because then all the insiders are just going to get in on it and then dump on people. You think Trump is right saying that Russia wouldn't have invaded Ukraine if he was president? Yeah, I think Trump is more of a deterrent because he's more he's more unpredictable on how he would react to situations. But I mean, to be fair, the Democrats did react in a very negative way against Russia to that. You know, they immediately came out and they put the heavy sanctions on, which is what NATO did. But I think there's a different component with Trump. What's the website? The website is Dex Screener. DEX Screener. Notice all the Russian women are not fat with no tattoos. Yeah, what a godsend that would be. The tattoos part. And also the fitness. But I mean, we've got a lot of overweight men in this country as well. We've got a lot of obese men and women. XRP fans are, yeah, the XRP people, they look at like a 3X and then they'll go crazy like it's the biggest thing ever. Dude, these things are just these Solana like animal things. I mean, yeah, I mean it's probably a good buying opportunity, honestly, but not financial advice. I don't know. You'd have to look at its Telegram and see how active it is. Type of woman, thin and no tattoos. Solana is the worst thing to happen to crypto. Yeah, the pump fund stuff is the worst thing to happen. What a liquidity drain. They got now they got a coin. So they fucking sucked up more liquidity. That's awesome. We need to get people off of that ecosystem. What do you think of going all in on Jail Stool? I'm not a big fan of Portnoy. I wouldn't buy that coin, Jail Stool. I know there's a bunch of liquidity he put into it, so the liquidity ratio is really good. I mean, I wonder what that coin has even done now. 3.1, damn. Yeah, I mean, he could probably pump it once the market's a lot better. What's the means to ends here in terms of this? Like, what does it pump to even? Yeah, nose ring is a no go. Don't you like thick women? Very soft to smash. Unlike skeleton Megan Kelly. Well, I think Megan Kelly, there might be a limit to how skinny. And I think she probably reached it. Tonight's on Love Island. What do you mean thoughts on Love Island? I hate Love. I don't watch any of that stuff. That stuff is degenerate, and it seems like it's getting really bad. A lot of people just are saying it's just crap. The people that watch it, are just degens, and it's just bad. We just don't need that type of shit. I mean, what is it? It's just like just slop Gen Z bullshit. How do you feel about Supreme Court letting Trump fire a big chunk of education department? Well, it's a huge win. It's a big, big win. Only show worse than Love Island is MILF Manor, where they date each other's moms. It's just degeneracy. Even a lot of conservative women have tattoos. I don't know what happened. It's the college thing. They all get them. They go to college. They get the tattoos. It's just not feminine at all. It's doesn't look good. It's not attractive. Make changes to the citizenship criteria. Well, there's some things that have to be done, yeah. Why do you hate on animal coins? Look at what happened to Peanut and Moodang. Yeah, that was because those coins got those coins got viral videos. Do you think freaking like Wolfer the Walrus is gonna get I mean, it's like, what are the coins that you're in? I don't even know. It's like Wolfer the Walrus. I mean, most of these coins, they're not even based on real animals. What do you think of the podcast bros that get together, gang up on women, and berate them on their podcast? Then all the young Gen Z dudes consume the content and think it's normal. Well, like Fresh and Fit. Well, I mean, those women, they get notoriety, they get the shout out, whatever. They argue. I mean, they're all feminists, man. They're all feminists. They never get told stuff that's not women are number one, so it makes them angry. What do you think of the Bop House? Just pure degeneracy. It's just disgusting. Peanut and Moodang are on Robinhood. Yeah, they're already played out. They've already pumped. I mean, they're probably gonna pump again with like what? Let's see. This was like one of those plays. I mean, it's still at $250 million. It'll probably pump again because the money infusion. The money infusion we're gonna see. Let's just transfer this Market cap to Nasdaq's coin. I think that would be a good change. Go it, make a comeback. I remember that coin. Wasn't that like AI or some bullshit? Yeah, the Truth Terminal. Yeah, I think it could make a comeback. It's got basically an exact same setup as the Peanut coin. But at what's the means to the end? Like if you're buying at 100 million, how high can the thing really go? What, 2 billion? You get a 20x? I mean, I guess. Chill guy. That's another one, man. There's been a lot of these Solana a lot of these coins have gone crazy on Solana. Chill guy. What did Chill guy go to a billion? I don't think it did. No, it didn't. Did Peanut actually sway any votes? It was just an internet thing. Yeah, it was just an internet thing. Did you hear about YouTube demonetizing AI slop? Yeah. I mean, I'm surprised they can't already detect it. Videos run through detections. So if you've got, the AI voice, they're probably going to be able to detect it and it's probably not going to be able to be monetized if you have it. That would be my guess. Yeah. What the Jason dude? I don't know. I don't even have a wife, but it's a troll. You're gonna get that. What do you guys think? Trump 5D chess or total sellout? No, it's not 5D chess. I mean, that's not what it is. Bonk coin. $2 billion. This is one of the biggest coins, I think. This is one of the biggest meme coins there is. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this live stream. I will be seeing you later. I mean, there's like a 1,000 new coins made every hour. Next stream guest? I don't know. Maybe I should try and change it up and bring someone on for the channel. Trump approves attack plan on Iran, order pending. Minute 2:43. So 2 hours 43 minutes. I'll have to remember that. 2 hours 43 minutes. Who was the one guy that you brought on who was a huge flop? I don't think I brought on anyone that was a huge flop. But I only brought on 2 people so far. But bring people from Discord, yeah. All right, I'll see ya.